Welcome to our channel. My name is Tracy and I'm the keeper of our home here at 4D Farms, where we're all about faith, family, home, and farm. Y'all come on in and see what we're all about, because we want our channel to encourage you and inspire you on your journey. If you see something that you like, please give it a thumbs up, hit that like button. That helps our channel grow and reach more people. If you want to subscribe, and if you think other people can benefit from our videos, please share them. Y'all, we hope to see you in each and every video, and most of all, thanks for watching. Well, you have to keep your property maintained. That includes your driveways. We've had some very bad storms in the fall and spring, and it washed out a lot of our entrances and our driveway. And yeah, you have to keep those maintained. So here's the start of our spring and summer. Getting these done first, so we can move on to other things on our to-do list. Never-ending things on the farm. Y'all know that old saying, there's no place like home? Well, it's true. There is no place like home. As soon as we get home and we pull in our driveway, the first thing I want to do is fall out of my truck and just kiss the ground. That's how good it feels to be home. But there's schedules and routines that we have to fall into as soon as we get home. And that's what I want to tell y'all about today. You saw in our last video that we were driving home. So ready. I don't think dear hubby could have stayed another week. He was when he's had enough, and he's like, when y'all get ready, I'm ready to go anytime y'all will let me. So we kind of got to come home, like, I think about a week and a half early. But as soon as we get home, there's like things we have to do. We have to now fall back into a home routine. And when we get home, we have to unload our vehicles, get things out that needs to come into the house, like right then, like our hygiene, things like that you don't really need to leave in your truck for a period of time, or that you're gonna need, that evening. So we unload what we can, try to start putting things, like my kitchen box, put it up, my cleaning box, we keep it in like one of our outdoor buildings, so it's ready for the next trip. And we start like bringing things into the house that needs to come in. I just got to show y'all these right quick. Me and the granddaughters are going to learn how to make goldfish. Yeah, I've been watching some videos and getting some recipes, and that was the first thing I wanted to do. I ordered those a couple of weeks before we came home. And our boys and daughter-in-laws have been checking our mail every day and, gathering up our packages and stuff and bringing them inside. That's another thing we have to do when we get home. There is someone at our house every day when we're gone, checking the mail, checking on the cows, checking on the house, checking with the neighbors, all such as that, taking care of things. And they collect our mail, any packages that come in, and they bring it in the house for us and have it ready for when we come home. So we we unload our vehicles, start bringing stuff in the house, put things in vehicles that can go back out there and just stay. until the next work trip, till we have to pack it back up and go. And then we just back our trucks up to that building, throw them in there, hit the road again on the next road trip. But things that come inside, we just kind of start unloading, kind of start slowly unpacking, and then going through mail. Half of it, 75% of it, y'all, is that stinking junk mail you got to go through. So half of it goes in the mail, or more than half. There's a few little important things in there, but nothing pressing. And we get that done. Me and dear hubby may go somewhere that evening and just grab a quick bite to eat, something like that, because after traveling, he's not going to make me get in the kitchen and immediately start cooking and all such as that. So we go to town, we grab us a little something, and just kind of just take it easy and relax the rest of the night. Then the work kind of starts the following days. Finishing unpacking, coming up, me like, okay, you know, now we're so thankful that we're home, because one of the first things that I have to do is restock the refrigerator. Because we don't leave a lot of things in our refrigerator when we're gone, because, you know, obviously it ruining or something like that. So I start making plans and things like that for menu plans. But a couple of days, or sometimes immediately as soon as we get home, we get to see the grandkids. We get to see our kids. And this particular time when we got home early enough that our son and the granddaughters were still here checking on the cows. It didn't take us long to get home due to where we were at. And we were pulling up in the driveway, and oh my gosh, we didn't even get out of our trucks. They met us at our trucks and opening the doors, and y'all, the welcome home parties that we get from our grandkids will just tear your heart out. The crying, the screaming, the excitement, the hugs, the kisses, the crying. They're crying, we're crying. I mean, it's just wonderful when we come home. There's been times that we have surprised them and showed up at school in the car rider line and picked them up. And oh my gosh, the screaming and the crying as soon as they spot one of our vehicles and they see that we're home. And then the teachers outside are wiping tears, you know. There's been times that I have gotten home early and went to school and just grabbed them and checked them out for the day. And been waiting in the office, and they come in that office and they saw me, and oh my gosh, you could hear my granddaughter screaming all the way down the hallway. The ladies were in there in the office, the principal, oh my gosh, we were having to pass a Kleenex box around. So the welcome home parties that we get are just awesome and memorable. And that night, they were just like, oh, y'all are home now. Can we spend the night? Can we spend the night? Can we spend the night? So we're like, you know, we're exhausted, but you know what? Yes, you sure can. So we all loaded up, and I think we went to Sonic or somewhere. We grabbed something quick to eat somewhere and just spent the night together and came in and watched a movie and just had a good time, slept in the next morning, and then, you know, at least they got to see that, you know, the right when we got home. It just depends on where they're at and what they're doing and when we get home as to when we get to see them. But this particular time, they just met us in the driveway at our vehicles. So they spent the night with us, and we just went and grabbed something to eat. And then I think the next day they did have to go to a birthday party or something, but it had already been planned. But oh Lord, they didn't want to go. And so I'm like, you know what? Y'all go. You have fun. We are home for the summer. We're not going anywhere. We'll be right here when you get back. So they were sad, but they went. And then I was like, okay, I need to get into my routine. I need to start getting a meal plan together. I need to go grocery shopping. When we did get home, they still had like a few days left of school. And last minute tests to take, last minute projects, field trips, field day at school. You know, the fun stuff that you're just basically doing nothing the last week or two of school. Okay, so they did have a few things to do at school, but they did get to spend that weekend with us. Because I believe we got home on a Saturday. And then, so while they were at school, I went and I got like groceries for the refrigerator. That's the first thing I have to do. Get restocked on things. And, now that we're home, they're going to be staying with us a lot because, you know, we're home for the summer. They're going to be out for school. They don't have to have somebody to keep them during the summer while they have to go to work because we're there. So our grandkids get to stay with us every day during the summer. It saves the parents money and they don't have to find someone to babysit. We don't babysit at Poppy and G-Mall's house. We have play dates and we spend time with our family and our grandkids. So they were all excited. But while they were at school, I took that time to go get stocked up on things that we needed back in the refrigerator, things that I knew that we were going to be needing for when school let out, and they were going to be here every day, lunch stuff, breakfast stuff. I already had like freezer breakfasts in the freezer, so that helps me out a lot. On those first few mornings that we're home, I don't have to spend time in the kitchen cooking breakfast or batch bacon. I always keep things on hand in the freezer. But we needed lunch items and we needed like milk, you know, butter, things that we needed to stock the refrigerator back on. Didn't have to worry about meat. It's in the freezer. We still have Teddy in the freezer, and we have our garden veggies in jars in our pantry or in freezer bags in the freezer. So this particular evening, I was making a meal, and I got things out of the freezer, and we grabbed some Teddy cube steaks, and I was frying up some French fries that I had done and put in the freezer back in the winter time, and that was tonight's meal. And we take it easy the first couple of days we're home, just getting back into our routine, getting things back in order, cleaning if anything needs to be clean, start making those meals, getting back into our home routine. And, you know, that involves a lot. But before we left, we made a little list on our whiteboard, on our dry erase whiteboard on our refrigerator. First things first that we needed to do when we got home. And yeah, there's those Teddy cube steaks. Yes, he has been nourishing our bodies, and this summer we will be adding 2 more to our freezer. So we got to cook all this out of here and make room for more. So I'm just going to be making up some little Teddy cube steaks tonight, but I'm going to be doing them in a different batter. I'm going to try a thicker batter this time, and I'm going to just be frying up some French fries and some lard, and just an easy meal, settling back into things and taking it easy. But on our whiteboard, we had some things wrote down that we knew needed to be first priority when we got home, that we didn't get to finish doing before we left, that we're like, okay, as soon as we get home, this has got to be done. But before we started any of those, about a week before we got home, our son told us, he's like, Dad, y'all's driveway is washing out. You know, the rock is washing. We've had some bad storms here. Those spring rains, early spring rains. And he said, y'all's driveway is pitiful. And he's like, it's getting a ditch down in the middle. And we don't like that. So we started, contacting our gravel guy and setting up appointments and times that he can come and bring us loads of gravel to fix our driveways with. And we have a long driveway, and then you turn, and we have a little secondary driveway. And so that was the first project that had to be done, because we do not like driving in mud and walking in mud and, like with your Sunday pretty shoes on. So that was the first thing that had to be done, was redoing our driveway. And we know a guy, and he takes care of us. And it only has to be done like maybe every 3 years maybe, or just depending on how many storms and things you have in a year or something. And dear hubby just keeps up with all that. He just does not like a bad looking driveway. So it was time to do it. And then that was the first thing, and that was their project to get going. And then I just started doing things in the house, getting ready for the week. And this particular time I was getting supper ready, and then when I went grocery shopping, I got like things for the lunches to have for when the granddaughters get out of school, and started prepping all these things and prepping all these vegetables. And I knew last year before we left that they told me, Jima, this is the last jar of pickled vegetables. You need to make some more. So I got extra vegetables to get ready to make a slew of pickled vegetables for them for the summer, however long they last. And then good vegetables, because I really got on a good meal program for me. Me and my doctor have been trying to come up with some solutions to help, the older I get, start watching my eating more and my eating habits, blah, blah, blah. Take care of your body this, take care of your body that. You're not getting any younger. Okay, doc, I get it. So while we were gone, I got on this routine, and I started fixing me some smoothies for breakfasts in the mornings. I'm going to do that for a while, and I said I'm going to do like a 30-day challenge. I'm going to do some smoothies, and it's a very healthy smoothie. I do my yogurt. Now, sometimes I can make yogurt when we're away, sometimes I can't. This particular time, I didn't have enough time to make any yogurt because we were cutting it close to getting home. And then we had stayed in a hotel room before that, and I just didn't have the space. So I buy the Chobani or Kabani non-fat plain Greek yogurt, and no sugar, no nothing like that. And I use that and a juice, a flavored juice, or you can use milk, or you can do like a protein powder. You can use whey, some kind of liquid, and then a good heaping teaspoon of peanut butter for the protein, and the extra nuts, okay, for magnesium, and then a fruit. And I can either do strawberries, blueberries, and then I bought blueberries, which is normally what I use. And I said, I'm out of blueberries, but I remember grabbing a couple of jars of applesauce to take on our work trip with us. I found that applesauce jar, and I'm like, you know what? There's my fruit. I don't have to buy fruit anymore from the grocery store. So I saved money that way too. So I incorporated yogurt, a fruit, a juice, peanut butter, and then I started putting all of my tinctures in it that I use for the days. And because y'all, I make my tinctures with apple cider vinegar, not alcohol. So I do not like the taste of vinegar, so I put them in my smoothie, and I take that with my vitamins in the mornings, and I get all my nutrients in the mornings. And then that really holds me over till lunchtime. for lunchtime, I started eating raw vegetables. My doctor was like, why don't you try incorporating some raw vegetables in your diet every day? Fiber, protein, all your vitamins and minerals. And I'm like, okay. So I started incorporating some raw vegetables. So I started grabbing cauliflower, broccoli, radishes, celery, carrots. I think that was all. And then I got like a non-fat or low-fat, no sugar, some kind of dressing to dip them in. And just, I will have a little bitty bowl of that for lunch. And I'm going to say after doing that for almost 30 days, I could tell a difference. Now, am I still going to eat my bread? Yes, honey. I'm going to still eat that bread. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I am. Because pretty soon in my Bread Making for Beginners series, y'all, we are fixing to start the advanced stage of my Bread Making for Beginners series. The bagels, I believe, was the last thing in my intermediate section of my Bread Making for Beginners series, like using all-purpose flour, because I started researching and learning all of the benefits of whole grains about 10 years ago. But for some reason, I put it down. And I was researching grain meals, and I was researching where to buy the grains from. And for some reason, I didn't carry on with it. I guess the timing just wasn't right. So when my mama was diagnosed with leaky gut syndrome, I said, that's it. That was my wake-up call. And I started picking up my research again, refreshing my memory. My husband bought me first my KitchenAid attachment. That's a grain mill that goes attached to my KitchenAid mixer, and I started using it. I bought the berries, the wheat berries. I started grinding my own grain. Started practicing baking and things like that. And y'all, we're fixing to get into that section of my Bread Making for Beginners series, teaching you about biblical benefits and purposes of whole grains. Despite what we've been told, you can't eat grains, they're bad for you. I beg to differ, and I can show you in the Bible. And I will be doing that when we get to that section. And then that's going to be the advanced section in my Bread Making for Beginners series. That next video is coming soon. If you have always been intrigued, wanted to learn about whole grains, just didn't know where to start, you want more information, and you want the biblical explanation and point of view in it, and kind of like statistics and proof, I'm your girl. That will be coming up, and I can teach you everything I have learned about whole grains. I bought my mother a grain meal, Nutri meal. I became an affiliate when I started seeing, okay, whole grains is our vibe, because dear hubby can eat it better. It's better on my gut. It's better on my mother's gut. She doesn't have any as much. We can still have our bread, and we're using whole grains, and it's so much better for you, y'all. And I will explain all that, give you the statistics, I will give you the references, I will answer all your questions. So if you have always been interested and you just don't know where to start, y'all just look for that next video coming up because we're fixing to dive into it. And I can tell y'all right now, I see a difference in my breads. I see a difference in my gut, my digestion, and my mother is using her grain meal. My KitchenAid grain meal attachment is fine. I have no problems with it. I still grab it every once in a while if I just need to do a small batch of something. But if y'all know I'm a batch baker, I love to make ahead breakfast and do batch baking and cooking. So I upgraded to a Nutri Classic, and I got my mother one. I supply her in wheat grains, wheat berries, and soft white wheat and hard white wheat. I'll explain the difference between the berries. And I taught her how to mill her own grains, and I keep her supplied. Our local Mennonite store just right down the road, I can get 50-pound bags, and I got 4 5-gallon buckets, and I divide these grains between me and my mama, and I take them to her. I taught her how to use her meal. I taught her how to start substituting now and using whole grains, and I've taught my mama how to make bread and how to use them in meals, things like that. Y'all, if you're interested in it, just hold on. That section is coming, and we can deep dive into it, and you can basically start, I am going to say, healing your gut a little at a time just with whole grains. We'll get into that, and I'll explain all that in these videos coming up. So y'all just be prepared. I am an affiliate, and I will provide links because I stand behind their products, and I am an advocate for whole grains and milling and grinding your own grains and milling them into flour, using that to turn around and bake nutritious goods for you and your family and your gut and your body and your health. So enough about that in this video. But the next thing we have to start doing is just, start crossing off things on our list that we knew was a priority. We knew when we left here that when we're going in the fall, we knew, and we knew when we left here, we're like, oh snap, we did not clean the gutters from the fall. We didn't do that. And the winter, we didn't clean the gutters. So he's like, that's first on our list when we get home. Cleaning the flue to the chimney, because y'all, we had that bad ice storm back, Fern, if any of y'all went through it. Y'all, we were without power for a week. So yes, I got the inside and the walls because it was, you're burning a fireplace, wood in a fireplace. There's going to be soot. There's going to be smoke stains. But he's like, you know what? When we left here, it was still kind of cold. And he's like, I really don't want to take a chance on sliding on our roof because, of ice or something like that, or, because it's cold and, a little bit of frost. So we knew we had to do that. So those are projects that we dove into first as soon as we got home. And then, let's see, we got home a little, almost around, it was the weekend of Mother's Day, but we were sliding in Mother's Day by the skin of our teeth, and everybody had already made plans because we weren't expecting to be here. And we're like, hey, y'all go to your in-laws. Go ahead and go do that. As soon as we can, we get our house back in order. We get things ready. We will get together for Mother's Day, and we will have fun. So we had a cookout and just started slowly getting back into our home vibe. And I'm taking care of everything inside that I needed to take care of before I start outdoor projects. He's got things that he's got to do outside that has been on our list for a long time. And he's like, you know what? Since you're not growing a garden this year, y'all excuse me, let me get a sip of tea. That's better. He said, since you're not growing a garden this year, before we start working in it, let's get some things done. And he said, I'm really going, since we're not growing a garden, I'm really gonna try to finish your kitchen. Y'all, all we have left to do in our kitchen is crown molding, baseboards, trimming around the windows and door facings and entryways, and replacing sockets. He didn't like the sockets when he put those in there. We didn't like the color, and they've been exposed all this time, and he's like, I'm gonna fix those for you. I'm like, please do. So things that we've been aiming to do, things that needs to be done, and since we're not growing a garden this year, we're going to use that time to get these things done and just slowly mark them off our list. Now, just because we're not growing a garden this year doesn't mean that I still can't help you learn how to put a seed in the ground, plan your garden, teach you how to grow something that you're like, you know what, I really don't know how to grow this. Let me check her out. If you want to know how to grow something that we grow, y'all go to our channel, go to our playlist, and scroll down till you see 4D Farms Gardening Playlist. I show y'all how we plant everything that we grow. And I take you through getting the garden ready, and it's not too late to still plant some things. It depends on what zone you're in. So getting your garden ready, doing any tilling, that needs to be done, planting your seeds, maintenance throughout the growing season, keeping up with the process during the growing season, letting you see how to take care of it as it's growing, all the way up to harvesting. Then, if there's something that you want to know how to can and preserve or freeze it or something like that, y'all, go to our 4D Farms Canning and Preserving playlist. There is something on there that I'm sure you will get a benefit from. Go check out that playlist. If you want to know what, I've got bukus of zucchini. I don't know what to do with it. I'm your girl. I can show you everything we do with our zucchini. Anything that we grow in the garden and can and preserve, it either goes in a jar or in a freezer bag. Or things that we don't grow, but I buy in bulk, like potatoes and carrots and things like that. Bring them home and preserve them. Put them in the freezer or in a jar in the pantry. Y'all go to that playlist and check it out. I'm sure you'll find something. That should keep you occupied for the summer while we get projects done. So we have a whole lot more projects to go. We're crossing off things on our list and getting things done. And we're working on our garden. I told y'all that we're going to be working on that through the summer. And I don't know when the video will be going out, but it will be a video that I started back in the fall and all the way up until it's finished, and I will take y'all through that. That video will be much later coming out, probably, after the season has ended and we've got all the work done. So y'all just be patient with us because I don't want to spoil anything about that video before it even comes out. Like I have said in a lot of previous videos, this is just changes that we're having to make and for future old fart selves, okay? So, like I told my granddaughters the other day, sometimes old farts just get cranky and irritable, and we can't do some of the things that we used to could do. So they're beginning to learn what they see changes in people. Kids notice things as they're growing up. they, as a little kid, they don't understand a lot. But as kids get older, they start noticing things. They start, something's not right. Something's changing. Something's shifting. So, they're beginning to notice Jima and Puppy's not as young as we used to be. Every time we get up off the couch, something cracks or pop. I swear we sound like a box of Rice Krispie cereal, snap, crackle, and pop when we get up. And they're like, "Is that your bones?" Yes, child, that's our bones. Snack, crackle, and a poppin'. But anyway, I don't want to spoil anything about that video. But y'all just continue to hang out with me. There is so much more to come as we're going to be doing things this summer, and things we're going to be talking about in videos. As y'all just hang out with me and watch me do some things, we can chit chat while I work. That's what I do in my kitchen. I'm all about sometimes chit chatting while I'm working, and I'm in my kitchen a lot. And I can talk and work at the same time. And I can just do that with y'all like I'm doing right now. You're visiting with me in my kitchen, watching me do things. And, I can explain it as I go, or we can talk about something completely different. But there is more cooking and baking coming up. We're going to make more goodies and nutritious meals. I still have plenty more to show y'all and talk with y'all about. We'll get more into the Proverbs 31 woman, and we're going to kind of intermingle the Titus 2 woman in with that, because she's another fabulous woman too that God tells us and instructs us to be. So it's not all about just being the Proverbs 31 woman. We got to throw the New Testament Titus 2 woman in there too. She has a lot of responsibilities, and it goes along with the Proverbs 31 woman. So y'all just stay tuned for that. We're going to kind of intermingle both of those girls, because some things in the Bible, y'all, are not suggestions. They are kind of like commandments. I mean, God don't play sometimes when he gives us instructions, okay? And we have an instruction manual how to live by, and it's the Bible, okay? And I'm not trying to push religion or Bible on anybody. If you don't believe and you don't believe the Bible, hey, I'm not going to push it on you. That is your prerogative. That is your conviction. You can believe what you want to. But I'm like the Bible says, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. And here on my channel, you're going to get a little bit of faith along with a lot of other things too. So y'all just stay tuned for that as we continue those talks. I've got a lot of other projects going on in the farm this summer, because there's new things I want to learn and practice. There's new things I want to try. There's some videos coming up where, hey, I may not be growing a garden this summer, but I got me a little play purdy for Mother's Day. And yeah, I'm going to be using it. I can't stand not being able to throw some seeds in the ground, but I got me a little play purdy, and I'm going to be throwing some seeds in the ground. I'm going to let granddaughters be throwing some seeds in the arrow garden and in this new little play purdy I got for Mother's Day. But a whole lot of projects going on here on the farm that we've got to get done. So y'all just stay tuned with us. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight in this video. You saw me cooking a meal. We're meal prepping. We're getting the refrigerator stocked for the week for granddaughters, for when they come and when they're hanging out with us, during the summer break. We're going to be making homemade pizzas. We're going to be swimming. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff this summer. I mean, we got a lot of time to catch up on with granddaughters and family. We're going to be having cookouts, getting projects done on the farm, all kinds of things. And I will take y'all along on those journeys and let y'all see, hey, what we do when we're home. I'm spitting all kind of juices in my eyes right there. There's always something to do on the farm. And so I'm just going to finish meal prepping here, getting this all together, stocking my refrigerator. And y'all just trust me when I say there's more to come. Like I said, we're going to get diving into a lot. And also remember that if you're not, just because I'm not growing a garden this summer doesn't mean you can't. And if you want to know how we grow something and put some seeds in the ground and take care of our garden, y'all check out my 4D Farms gardening playlist. Then if you need to know how to put something up that you have grown, that we grow, and you want to know how to put it up and utilize your time and your energy in your garden, check out our canning and preserving playlist. But we are going to sit down and we are going to enjoy this meal. And thank y'all for hanging out here with me today. Look how big that Teddy's cube steak was. But thank y'all so much for hanging out with me, y'all, and just chit-chatting with me and letting me talk to y'all. Y'all, if you like our content, you want to see more just like this, stay tuned. There's a whole lot more coming. I'll see y'all in the next video.